What's up, my glorious golden deliciousness? This is Rob from Gay Guy Plays, and today on the Daily Grind, we are coming in hard with our first look at Atlas Prime Access. Now, I'm actually going to go through each of the individual items and give you guys a stat breakdown as well as a comparison against their non-Prime variants. Then, after all of that, we'll have another installment of Rob reads you shit that you probably don't want to read yourself, because the patch notes for this update have some very interesting tidbits that I really want to make sure that you guys are aware of. So without ado, let's go ahead and jump on in. Now, as you guys can see, Atlas Prime has actually gotten some significant stat boosts. So his armor has jumped up from 450 up to 475. His energy has gone from 150 up to 175. Very, very nice. And his health, which I think is the biggest buff of them all, has actually jumped from 100 to 175 at its base. Now, of course, this synergizes really well with the fact that he just got a bump in his base armor, and of course, his rubble stacks on top of that, his EHP is just gonna keep climbing. Now, in addition to that, he's also got a boost from his shields going from 100 up to 150, and then his sprint speed, yes, has gone from 0.9 up to 1.0, and now he can rock with the rest of us running at base speed. I know it's a terrible pun, but I had to go with it. Now, when it comes to the model itself, I have to say, I actually really like it. They've still been able to capture like the rock theme and kind of like all of the different jagged bits in his armor, but not necessarily made him look too rocky, if you know what I mean. I really love all of the metallic bits, which is not much of a surprise. I really think that he's embodying his Shredder moment. But the most interesting thing, and I need to see if you guys agree with me or not, they kind of sort of gave him a little bit of a neck. Is it just me? But it looks like he's just got like thick muscular man neck now because of the way that they kind of changed this little back panel. They almost like separated it a little bit to make it look more like a collar instead of something that is actually just attached to the back of his head. So I think that the division of that kind of sort of gives him a neck. I don't know, let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree, but overall, I think that the modeling on this looks absolutely fantastic. Now, let's go ahead and move on to the Techno Prime, which I also think looks really cool from the top down, but I think looks kind of strange from the sides. Is it just me? I don't know. Regardless, as you can see right here, it's actually got a boost from its attack speed. Its original was 0.917, which is extremely slow, and has actually jumped up to a standard 1.0. I feel like that's the consistent theme. Let's make everything a little bit faster. Now, its critical chance and its critical multiplier has not changed whatsoever, but his status chance has actually gone up from 16% up to 26%, which is very nice because, as many of you guys know, the Tekko is actually a slash-based melee weapon. So as you can see, its IPS has also shifted. Its base damage has gone from 45 up to 55.9, which is a nice little boost because I feel like the critical chance and the critical multiplier are already very strong, so there's no need to go overkill on that. But if they just hit its status and brought it up a little bit more like they did here, they're gonna make for a solid weapon. I'm just curious to see if there are any interesting effects that kind of like pair along with it, because they haven't mentioned it in any of the side notes. Just do be aware, it is a mastery rank 12. Now, let's go ahead and move into Dethcube Prime. I hate the model a little bit less, if I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I did not like the original Dethcube because it was just like an unimaginative little box, but I like the details that they managed to put it on its side. It's like Accordion Prime now. You know what I'm saying? Now let's go ahead and take a look at its stats, because this one did receive a couple boosts as well. Its armor went up to 150 from 50, and its health went up from 200 to 300. I didn't realize how low the statistics were for these Sentinels, but let me tell you, when I was looking at the next item in question, I was kind of like shocked a little bit. I was like, wow, I didn't realize it was that bad, I guess is the phrase that I want to use for it, because as you can see, we also have Death Machine Rifle Prime. So I was kind of astonished because I was like, okay, this has got to be bugged. This can't be the base damage and all of this kind of stuff for these Sentinel weapons, because it's been so long since I've touched a Sentinel. But wow, I was like, its original critical chance was 5%, so technically it's got a 100% boost to its critical chance. Sitting at 10% now. Oh, so whopping. Its fire rate has gone from 8.33 up to 10. And then also its status chance has had a 400% boost. It was originally 1%. What? Now it's sitting at 4%, and its base damage has gone from 5.1 up to 7.1. So all in all, great buffs, something that we absolutely needed in the game. But yeah, so that's something that you guys should pay attention to. Now, when it comes to the kind of like extra effects, if you guys haven't actually already checked it out, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys right now that DE Rebecca did post the upgraded rumblers. So as you can see right here, this is kind of like one of his prime effects, is that his rumblers now, okay, initially I get that those are their fists, but I thought that they were toes and fingers. And I was like, why do they have nubby fingers? But I guess it's like literally their rock fists and they're like metallic knuckles. And also this metallic bit right here, I know it's sitting on their chests, but it just looks like a weird nose to me. So the whole thing, I was like confused. I was like, why does it look like this? And then I realized, oh wait, no, that's the wrong thing that we're talking about. And they have their little areas down there to match their little crotch metallics, I'm gonna go ahead and call it. But these are a couple of Rebecca's customizations, so you guys get a little bit of an idea as to what is going on with that. So that is basically it for the statistical portion of the Atlas Prime Access. We're actually gonna go ahead and jump into some patch notes right now, because genuinely there are some things that I feel are worth talking about. Alright, so I'm actually going to go ahead and skip over a majority of the text when it comes to Atlas Prime Access. You've already seen a lot of this already, and I don't want to go ahead and rehash it. But I did want to spotlight the Atlas Prime accessories. As many of you guys know, I ain't buying shit until I start seeing DE make some really important changes to the game. But just in case you did want to go ahead and throw some coin their way, he does come with a Sayandana as well as some Sentinel accessories for Dethcube Prime, or any other, you know, Sentinel that you want to go ahead and put it on. But I did want to make note, new Axii relics for Atlas Prime, Tekko Prime, and Dethcube Prime now also drop in Rotation C of Galleon Disruption, Lua Disruption, and Jupiter Disruption. So just in case you guys wanted a different way to farm them, rather than going through the standard routes of the Void or in the bounties, you could actually go ahead and grab them here. A 3-day mod drop chance booster has also been added in the following places: Barrow Katir to his offerings over several visits during Atlas Prime Access, and in place of sortie credit booster rewards. Now, if those of you guys who are unaware, there was a little bit of a controversy with the mod drop booster. I actually addressed it in a previous video, which I will top up there in the corner as well as down in the description box below. Now, Mirage Prime, Kogake Prime, and Akbolto Prime have entered the vault. With this vaulting comes the shift of the following Syndicate Sacrifice. Replace the Arbiters of Hex's Syndicate Sacrifice of Mirage Prime systems for the Equinox Prime Neuroptics. With the addition of this new Prime Access comes the next wave of Riven disposition changes. Please read our Dev Workshop post for all of the changes. I'll probably go ahead and cover that in a separate video. Now let's go ahead and jump into something that kind of goes hand in hand with the mod drop booster thing, looting ability changes. They've gotten a couple more in-depth points that I wanted to take a look at. Warframe loot abilities will again be able to yield multiple drops from already looted corpses. A single enemy could be looted by at most one ability from each group, which is how it worked before. This just clarifies it. Warframe looting abilities has been split into separate functionality groups for clarity. Loot while alive, which is Avara. Loot petrified, which is Atlas. Loot on death. Wukong, Korra, Hydroid, an enemy can only be killed once, they can't die multiple times. And then loot corpse, Necros, and Chessa. So they can be looted once from each of those categories. Everything else is kind of like in its own line, you know? Alright. What is the loot on death thing with Wukong? I didn't realize that he must have something in one of his augments that I completely forgot about, because I don't really care about loot abilities. These changes stem from a bigger conversation that was addressed yesterday regarding our not providing closure on the loot frame changes from the Jovian Concord. All of the information can be found here. Again, it's in my previous video. Now, let's go ahead and move into these changes. Atlas Rumbler summons now create a burst of rocks when summoned/destroyed. Increased Neptune Lamadia Disruption credit cash rewards based on feedback, so you can see them right there. The Universal Medallion still remains a 5% chance reward. You recall when we launched this node, that when mentioned expect higher than usual credit rewards from this endless node. While it may not be perfect competition for the index, it'll be a change of pace for those looking to get some credits with a change of scenery. We still aren't in index territory, but it should be at least more rewarding. Let us know what you think. Veiled Sentinel Riven mods can now be equipped on any Sentinel weapon type instead of a specific type, i.e. shotgun. A Veiled Sentinel Riven mod are now companion weapon Riven mods. Updated terminology for aim glide latch on blah, blah, blah. Moving along. This is what I wanted to get to. Sorry. We slipped into a territory there that we really didn't need to see. But Gauss changes and fixes. Passive, increased shield regeneration speed buff from 80 to 120% max. Yes, increased battery charge rate from moving by 25, going from 0 to 100 at full. Unmodded sprint speed now takes 20 seconds versus 25 seconds previously. Battery will no longer drain during the Sanctuary Onslaught Zone teleport. Gauss Spectres will start with 80% battery. Fixed battery gain not taking vertical velocity into account. Love that. Mach Rush now grants 1% battery charge per enemy hit during the dash. Increased battery charge rate during continuous run by 33%. This was something that we did not really get. It was just more like the initial burst that gave you the battery charge rate. Can now jump from the ground while running, cannot jump in air without canceling the dash. Added a small synergy with Thermal Sunder. Running through a bubble will add its damage to your dash and impact burst. Yes! Added small synergy. Oh, wait, I already read that. Fix the ability screen showing distance per energy, unintentionally applying both efficiency and duration under the hood, resulting in energy drain not matching the UI when you had duration mods. Changed energy per meter stack into energy per second. Unmodded energy drain remains the same, and while speed mods previously increased energy drain, more distance covered, they no longer do. Thus, energy drain will either be the same or better than before, never worse. Kinetic plating, decreased battery drain from damage by 33%! While active, melee weapon hits grant a small amount of battery charge. Thermal Sunder, increased bubble duration from 4, 6, 10 to 6, 9, 12, 15. Oh my god, even bigger now. Increased minimum radius from 33% max to 50% max. Split damage into 2 stats for cold versus heat. Increased damage for heat mode by 2 times. Remove blast damage stat. The blast will use the damage on the mode you are applying for cold or heat. The additional damage for canceling the status. Blast armor removal increased from 0 to 50 to 0 to 100. Oh, yes. Blast armor removal will now apply before the blast damage is dealt, causing it to be more effective. So now you strip the armor, then you do the blast damage, which is fantastic. Redline, increased redline percentage gain rate by 33%, increased projectile seek chance from 33 to 50%, decreased passive battery drain by 33%. Nice. So, that makes me very happy. They also added new sounds to Gauss when his red line is filled and when it has been exceeded. So that is fantastic as well. Fixed aim glide jumping. Nobody cares about aim glide. Blah, blah, blah. Fixed jumping while Gauss Mach Rush across water give you no height, resulting in getting wet. Fixed slash status effect dealing full damage to Gauss while in kinetic plating is active. Yes! Status damage will be determined by current damage reduction at the time the status occurs. Okay. Hallelujah. So a lot of great changes for Gauss there. A new way to farm Atlas Prime, which is absolutely fantastic. I hope you guys are having a great day. I hope you guys are seeing some good things coming out from DE. Really like the fact that we can now play Disruption and get some good bits out of it, right? Regardless, that's gonna do it for this installment. Let me know down in the comments below whether you've joined me on my quest to I ain't buying shit until we start seeing some changes, and good luck. May RNG be with you. Also down in the description below, I'll put any like drop locations, well, not drop locations, but the relics that are attached to it. It'll all be linked through the wiki, so that way y'all know what you're doing. So that about does it for me for now, my little golden apples. So as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your body. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.